Yeah. We can cut it off. Temperature control. Okay. We're gonna be in a lot of different verses today. I don't know how to tell you to keep up with me other than I'll do the best I can with it. And I'll try not to get, we got quite a few. Well, I don't know if I want to write all these down. Not sure even which ones I'm gonna use. We're gonna be in Psalms and Exodus and Matthew and a bunch of different ones, okay? So y'all just bear with me. It might be easier to try to just write down the verse and let's look it up later if you want to. It's however y'all want to do it. When we look at the scriptures, again, as we celebrate Mother's Day today, I want to tell you about how that got started and a little bit of history on it, and kind of go from there. Now, I'm one of those, even at Christmas and Easter and the other holidays, you know, that we have to celebrate Jesus. I'm one of those that I don't care about the commercialization of things. Does that make sense?
That's right.
I really don't. Because it takes away from who we're serving. So many times, and people get so caught up in, I gotta do this and I gotta do that, you know.
And mine's gotta be better than theirs here.
Yes, and everybody's comparing.
Mine's got, you know, I
Well,
go through it every year.
the only comparison we have to worry about in truth is our comparison to Jesus Christ. And I don't compare. But he does tell us in Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Now there's the 10 Commandments that we're going to be looking at. We're not going to go through all of them. We're just going to go through this particular verse. And we're also, in Deuteronomy, explains it a little better. I think I'll just use one in Deuteronomy because the first one we have is where Moses brought the 10 Commandments. That was in Exodus, like I said, in chapter 20. But in Deuteronomy, I'm going to put these on. Somebody can't see it. Chapter 5, verse 16. He expounds a little bit more. He says, honor thy father and thy mother, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee. Now, that wasn't a suggestion, was it? We're to honor them because God commanded it.
That was Deuteronomy 5.
Deuteronomy 5, verse 16. He said again, honor thy father and thy mother as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee, that thy days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth. This was the first of the commandments that was given, and it was given with a promise. You see, the first 4 commandments had to deal with man and God. You know, that's where he starts, those first 4 commandments. This is the first commandment that we have, and the rest of them, out of the other 6, starts off with man and man, right? And where does he start? Honor. Honor thy father and thy mother. Now, I've never had a problem honoring my mother. I didn't get to know her that well. She died when I was young. But then I had a stepmother, and I hate to call her a stepmother because she was like my mom, and I loved her dearly. So Rose she was mine. My real mother did what she could for me until she got sick, and then she couldn't. But she never quit praying for me, and I know that. Now, she made sure I was in church, made me do things I didn't want to do. Mamas never did that, did they?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we can all share some stories, and if you'd like to share a story about your mom or grandmother or whoever, maybe even it was another lady that was in your life. And I want you to think on that, because I know with me, I can think back and think of so many women in my life who were leading me towards God all along, and I couldn't even see it then. And there were times I didn't want to see it. And there was one in particular that was, actually I say that, there's a lot of them in our community, but this one, she didn't have any children. Her, Mr. Jones, and Miss Ruth didn't have any children, but everybody in the community, she would make sure that those kids were taken care of. And she'd always straighten my shirt and make sure I would look presentable, and everything had to be just right. And that was okay. Now, I didn't understand it, but she always talked about God and the grace of God, and talked about Jesus Christ. She was always sharing that with me. And I couldn't see it when I was younger, how much she was developing me. So I'm listed out there, several people already. If you'd like to share something with, maybe somebody's touched your life, whether it be our moms or be someone else who stepped in, not to take away that, but to lead us. We've all got someone. You may not have given any much thought about it, but do give that thought. And they're gone, most of them that I've dealt with. I still love them. I love them even more. Every day I begin to love them even more. I know one day I'm going to get to see them again. And that's going to be awesome indeed, ain't it? But that was the first that was done with a promise. It was done with a promise. That it may go well with you. Now, that's pretty cool, ain't it? He's always doing it. That's his honor. And I'll probably talk more about that on Father's Day, but sometimes people may not have in their hearts to want to honor their mother. Things may have happened, okay? But we have to get past those things. Let God guide that. You pray about it. You got to let those things, if there's a hurt there, let it go.
That's right.
Don't carry it. Don't keep it. Pray about it. Love them anyway. They may not have done everything just perfectly, but love them anyway. We look through the scriptures, there's so many things that God has done that he compares with a mother. Birds. We're going to go with birds because he'll use the eagle, and we even find the hen. That doesn't say what kind of hen. It could have been just a regular chicken, or a long-haired chicken, or banty. I don't know. But he says a hen. And I'm going to share some of these things with you. If I can find one. For one, God said it, and this is back in Exodus, in 19 verse 4, if you want to write that down. 19, Exodus 19 verse 4. He tells them that you have seen what I have done unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Well, what does that mean? I bear you on eagle's wings. You see, the eagles, when they're young ones, they can't fend for themselves. And they're still teaching them, right? They've been feeding them. They've had a home for them. They've nested them. They're tending to everything that they need. Then they get them on their backs and actually teach them how to fly. Isn't that cool? I can't imagine. But that's what they do. The eagles, so he says, I carry you. I carry you. Not only does he protect us in so many ways, but he carries us through so many things. He compares himself to that mother that tends to their young. Now, a lady by the name of Anna Jarvis, her mother's name was Ann, and Miss Ann was involved with a lot of things as Anna was coming up, but Miss Ann was involved with a lot of things for the women in the communities, because they had the Civil War had been going on. Most of the men were gone. there were people in need, families in need. A lot of mothers didn't know what else to do. Their husbands weren't there, or their sons weren't there. But she would phone and get them together, and she would go around, and those that needed medicines or needed whatever kind of care they needed, she would make sure, and the group did it. It began to be a group of them. So that's one of the things that she had done, and they also honored the churches. Isn't that beautiful? So she had so much in her heart to take care of others. I'm going to tell you, that's a pretty big undertaking, I think. Well, when Anna was coming up, she was involved in that as well, because that's what her mom was doing. Well, and later on in life, after her mother's death, Anna Jarvis wanted something set up for Mother's Day. She wanted to honor her mother, right? So she worked hard to get Mother's Day in place. Now, she wasn't the only one. You'd have to go back and read the history on it, and you can find it. But there are others who were actually behind the scenes working, but she is credited for getting us Mother's Day. And it finally came to place in May 8, 1914, when Congress declared it so, and Woodrow Wilson, the president, put it into effect. That's it. Second Sunday of May is Mother's Day, to honor those mothers, because so many of them are behind the scenes working. I thought about George Washington's wife making the flag. There's others that are behind the scenes. You know, we see so much in the scriptures even, but there's women behind the scenes. I know when Jesus was on his journey, when Jesus was bringing the message, and the disciples were with him, who was taking care of him?
The women.
The women were. Yeah. You know, we read about, I'm going to use Peter, because Peter's always the one that's in the mess, right? I'm going to use him. Can you imagine trying to eat something he cooked when he was so out there? You know, there was no telling. There's the ladies behind the scenes setting things up, letting people have their homes. Man, it was awesome. I can't imagine how it was. And we still have women doing this today. But Miss Anna Jarvis wanted to get her mother's, and she did. She got this and became a national holiday. But you know, it's also a holiday in other countries. It may not be on the same day, but in other countries, they have some of the same things. Theirs somewhat started off with, I forgot the name of his mother or something, but they would come back to their mother churches, and you know, that was a big thing, and then it became even stronger, but they honor their mothers. And so I thought, well, that's a beautiful thing. But I don't want us to be so in honor of our mother that we take away the honor of who sent her.
That's right.
I'm so thankful for God placing my mother in my life and allowing me to be born through her. Even though I lost her at a young age, I'm so thankful even for that, because of what I learned through it.